Now, if you've got big ideas to accomplish, this is going to be a great video for you, because this is one of the things where I see businesses struggle, is that they are chasing results, but never actually taking the time to break down what's a leading indicator and what's a lagging indicator. And what this can do for your company. Wouldn't it be great if you could reduce the stress about actually achieving growth in your company, about having confidence in what your employees are doing and where it's going to take you? Stay tuned, because we're going to answer all of that in today's video. Plus, if you have growth initiatives in your business, you want to go after that big idea, you're going to need a PDF download that you can find in the links below. And it is the 5 steps that are holding visionary leaders back by keeping them in that day-to-day muck of management. So grab that below and it can turn things around for you right away. Now let's get into leading versus lagging indicators. Now let's talk about what I mean by indicators in the first place. Indicators are things like your KPIs, your key performance indicators. The best way to do this is to look at a particular metric and see how we break it down and how companies typically look at things and what are best practices for looking at them, because that's going to help us understand leading versus lagging indicators. But first, let me give you a quick definition. A lagging indicator is something that lags, just like the name implies. It is something that happens after the fact. We can only measure a lagging indicator after the results are in. Most of the things we measure in business are exactly this. Our revenue, we only know it until after it happens. The metrics that we have when we're spending money on advertising, or our consult conversion rate, we only know those things after we've done consults, after we've spent marketing money, after we've actually generated the revenue. They are all lagging indicators. They're something that shows the effect of all the work that we did before that. Here's the thing. A leading indicator, though, talks about the thing you can control. You can't control a lagging indicator directly. It's only an indirect effect. We had a division head who would come in, and to encourage all of us, we were on a sales team, to bring in more new clients, he would just encourage us with, we just need more net new revenue. We just need more net new revenue. And here's the thing, it gets kind of disheartening. If you know you're chasing that number, you know you're going after it, but you haven't taken the time to plan and strategically think about which leading indicators are really going to get you to that point, it can be disheartening, because you're running around, it feels like you're running around in circles. Nobody's really happy with performance. You've got this person over here doing it their way and another person over here doing it their way. There's no consistency, which means he was frustrated as the leader because we weren't getting the results that he wanted. But we were frustrated as staff too, because what did he think we were trying to do? Of course, we were trying to bring in new clients. We were a sales team. When you're trying to do something new in your business, when you're trying to get that momentum, or you simply want trust that things are going to continue and carry on the way they need to in order for you to go after that big idea and that growth initiative in your business, think about the leading versus lagging indicators, because you can have employees tuning out or doing all their own things or not having any way of tracking whether what you need to stay stabilized or what you need to grow is actually doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, the idea in business is for us to have more control over what we do, to understand what we're doing, what our employees are doing, in order to affect those lagging indicators that we care so much about. Our leading indicators are something that's influenceable, that it's something that we can take action on and that we have control over. And ultimately, they lead to the lagging indicators. We don't just pluck these things out of a random thin air. We actually need to do some work to look at what are the most appropriate indicators in order to reach those goals that we have set in our business.
So let's take an example. Revenue is one of those major things that we measure in business all the time. It's one of the measurements that actually matters to keeping our business afloat, but it is a lagging indicator. Revenue is a lagging indicator, and so are a lot of the tools that we use to measure revenue in the process. Things like number of new clients that have come in, or the number of consultations that we've had, or possibly it's the conversion rates that you're looking at on meetings that you've had or advertisements that you've put out there. All of those things are indicators that we can only measure after the fact, not before. We have to do the work before we actually know the results. But what we're looking for is something more than that. It's that thing that we have influence over, that we can take action on. And that's the leading indicators. These are things that you can choose to do with your time, with your resources, with your money. Things like, how many prospecting calls have you made? How much did you actually put in ad spend? You might have a prediction of how much return that's going to give you, but you are deciding how much ad spend to put into it. You have content or training that you've posted. Maybe you do webinars. You know that if you do a webinar a week, it will come back to you with a certain amount of people who opt in for your services after that webinar. Or for every blog post or every LinkedIn post that you put out there. I have a friend who says for every 1,000 views on a LinkedIn post, he expects to get a prospect in. So that is his leading indicator. If he can put out a post each week that gets him 1,000 views, he knows he'll get a lead from each of those. Another one is simple ask. This is something that I do with my clients all the time. What's that ask when they're speaking with somebody in the service mode to say, hey, do you have anybody who would be interested in our services? Or is there anything else that we can do for you? Or would you be willing to write us a recommendation on Google Plus or on Yelp or something like that that would affect your business? You know that those are leading indicators. Making those asks can lead to extra business, can lead to new clients. And so it's something that you can control, that you can carve out time or resources for. And it's a leading indicator because those leading indicators lead to the lagging indicators that you care about in your business.
So here's my question for you. What wins the game in your business? What activity or thing that you have control or influence over will lead to those key goals for your firm? What are the activities that matter more than most? Now, you may know what it is for you as a leader, but it's helpful to also look at what it is needed for each of the employees on your team as well. Think about what wins the game for your business, because if you're not winning in your business, chances are it has very little to do with the goals you've set, but the actual activities that are going into it. And that's where leading versus lagging indicators come into play. When we focus on accomplishing leading indicators that we know will influence and lead us to that end result, we can just buckle down and actually concentrate on getting those things done and feel good about our efforts, because we aren't just chasing a number that we only find out about after the fact. It's something that we can control, that we can feel proactive about, that people can mobilize around, and that you have a sense of where things are going to be going based on the information that comes back to you. If you are winning, what are the leading indicators that are really helping you keep going? And how can you start to expand those out? So if you know what's really working for you on the revenue inside, what do you need on the revenue outside or on that stability side of the equation? How could you be up-leveling your staff? How can you be teaching them to identify the leading indicators in their own roles? Leading versus lagging indicators has so much power, whether you're winning in business or whether you are still struggling to get to those original goals that you've set. So start taking a look at what factors will help you win, what you can control and have influence over, and start using them on a consistent day-to-day basis in your business. Now, if you're looking for the guide to 5 other ways that you are being held back as a visionary leader that's getting you stuck in that day-to-day management, check out the PDF guide below. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, I would love you to hit the subscribe button, don't miss a video, like this, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and any questions that I can answer in future videos.